Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2024 annual meeting. My name is Gerald Kreiner, and for the last 4 years, I've had the pleasure of serving as chairman of the board. Each of you has come to the annual meeting today to take an active part in your cooperative. On behalf of your board of directors, I am pleased to welcome you. At this time, I call the meeting to order. I invite Director Janet Teeter to give the invocation and to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Also, we'd like to thank our veterans for your service. Your contribution to preserving our freedom is greatly appreciated. Janet?
Could I have everybody please rise while we do the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. We ask that you bless and protect everyone here today, along with our staff and linemen that are out there working. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Janet. I'd like to remind everyone of the purpose of the annual meeting. As stated in the bylaws, this is not a business meeting. Tri-County is governed by a board of directors whom you elect. Business is conducted at monthly business meetings, and any cooperative member may attend and additionally may address the board of these meetings following policy budget bulletin number 1-3. The purpose of the meeting today is to announce the results of the election of board members, approve any reports from the previous fiscal year, and address any other businesses that was submitted following the proper procedures. As an electric distribution cooperative, we are committed to the safety of our employees and to our members. Today we have an EMT on site for our annual meeting. We also have staff positioned around the venue. You'll see them in blue shirts. And if you feel the need of assistance, please raise your hand and seek assistance. This year, if you have any questions during the annual meeting, please raise your hand and an employee will hand you a note card and a pen. Please include your name and contact information along with your question. They will collect those, and when you are done, your questions will be answered at the end of the annual meeting as time allows. I'd like to remind you to please silence your cell phones, and let's continue on with the meeting. The Elections and Credentials Committee has determined that the ballot box will be closed at 1:15 p.m. for the election of directors from District 1, 4, and 7. All ballots for the election must be deposited into the ballot box prior to that time. The ballot box is near the registration table with the Elections and Credentials Committee. Please raise your hand if you need help to place your ballot in the box, and a committee member will bring the box to you. I ask the Board of Directors to stand now to be recognized when I call their names. Your Board of Directors are as follows. District 1, Jerome Cicela. District 2 and Vice Chairman Valerie Robbins. District 3, Mike Filer. District 4, James Davis. District 5, Matthew Whiting. District 6, Alfred Calkins. And District 7, Janet Teeter. And again, District 9, Lowell Geiser, who also serves as our Secretary and Treasurer. And again, my name is Gerald Kreiner, and I represent District 8 and serve as the chairman. The directors' biographies are available at the Tri-County website. At this time, I'd like to introduce our special guest. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials and other guests who are with us today. Our relationship with our legislators is very important in making this cooperative program successful at the local, state, and national level. Legislators from areas like ours care about those issues that affect rural America. Without their continued support, our program would not be what it is today. Representing Senator Gene Yaw is Matt Wise. Right here. State Representative Clint Owlett. We have two Lycoming County Commissioners with us today, Scott Metzger and Mark Sortman. Steve Brame, Pete Fitzgerald, and Morgan Webb from PREA. Steve Alabaugh from the CEO of Claverack is in the back. Steve, welcome. Gary Hennup is a director at Claverack. He's in the back also. Rebecca Allen, Member Services Rep for Claverack. Brian Zeidner, Director of Member Services, Claverack Rural Electric Cooperative. Annette Coder, Executive Assistant at C&T Enterprises. Casey Wood is Vice President of Communications in C&T Enterprises, so if you see a lady walking around with a camera in her hand, that's her. Cheryl LeBlanc is the HR Director of C&T Enterprises. And Bud Rutherford is the Director of Safety and Compliance at C&T Enterprises. He's in the back. So welcome to all our guests. I would now like to ask Lo Geiser, Secretary Treasurer, to give proof of mailing notice and request action on the minutes from the 2023 annual meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'd like to welcome everybody here to their participation in your cooperative annual meeting. You know, this year, this co-op is going to be 88 years old. It was incorporated in October 24th, 1936. It just makes me think a little bit about all the past members, board members, staff, employees over the years who have made this cooperative what it is today. First by coming through with a life-changing electricity, and now we're at life-changing broadband. And just thought that's a pretty neat idea that 88 years old this year in October. On June 10th, 2024, printed notice of the Tri-County's annual meeting to be held at Alpion Park, Troy Fairgrounds, in July 23rd, 2024, was mailed to each member's address as it appears in the records of the cooperative. Notices were deposited in the United States mail in a stamped sealed envelope. Now for the annual meeting minutes. A copy of the minutes were available at registration and online. Are there any objections to waiving the reading of the minutes? Hearing none, are there any corrections or objections to the minutes? If there are none, no corrections or objections, the minutes are approved by unanimous consent. Secretary Treasurer's report. Each member was mailed a copy of the financial report for 2023 as part of the July pen lines. The books of the cooperative were audited for the year by our auditing firm, Forvis, who found to be satisfactory with the cooperative operating in a sound financial condition. A copy of that independent audit is available for inspection upon request. As part of this process, the auditing firm is granted unfettered access to the cooperative documentation and information, as well as direct communication with management and staff. The auditing firm interviews select staff and board members, which they do at their discretion. We take these matters very seriously. Your board of directors and the cooperative management and staff spend months to make sure that we are able to present to our members each year that the cooperative is, in fact, operating in a sound financial condition. Your board takes to heart the directive in the bylaws to make reliable electric energy and related services available to our members at the lowest, consistent with sound economic and good management. This past year can be counted as a success under those guidelines. Thank you.
So for the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of serving as chairman of Tri-County Rural Electric Cooperative's Board of Directors. As we gather today at our annual meeting, I want to take a moment to express a heartfelt gratitude for the unwavering support and trust our members and communities have placed in Tri-County. Your continued belief in us is a testament to our service and a key driver in our success. Your trust allows us to fulfill our commitment to providing high-quality, dependable electric and fiber service at affordable rates. We are thankful for our members and for the opportunity to serve you. I also want to extend a special thank you to our dedicated employees whose hard work and dedication drives our success. Your talent and your commitment to excellence at Tri-County makes us a reliable and respected cooperative. At the heart of Tri-County's mission is our unwavering commitment to provide high-quality, dependable electric service at affordable rate. This commitment, which has been our guiding principle since our inception, is a testament to the dedication to the meeting your needs and ensuring your satisfaction. For 88 years, Tri-County has consistently upheld its core values of integrity, community, and service. While we have upheld these core values, we have not remained unchanged. We have evolved. We have grown, strengthened our operations, innovated, achieved, and will continue to do so. Our recent annual report demonstrates how we've continued to build connections by investing in our members and our communities. Notably, in 2023, we retired nearly $710,000 in capital credits and allocated almost $752,000 in patronage capital back to our members. This not only demonstrates our commitment to ensuring reliability, but also signals the cooperative's financial stability. I appreciate the importance of advocacy in providing leadership training to our youth. Likewise, Tri-County believes that education and training are essential for future innovation and reliability. The future belongs to our youth, and the more we invest in them, the stronger our society will be. For it's our responsibility to discover a balance between realistic innovation and reliability. Tri-County is committed to the belief, as demonstrated by our partnership with the Northwest Lineman College and our Lineman Apprenticeships program. We are proud to announce that we have 100% of our linemen who have successfully completed this program or a program with a comparable structure and rigor. This commitment ensures that we have a skilled and dependable workforce capable of meeting the evolving needs of our cooperative and our community while prioritizing safety. In addition to that, we continue to support the National Rural Electric Youth Tour program, which aligns our theme, Building Connections, Ensuring Reliability. This program provides high school juniors with the opportunity to visit Washington, D.C., where they learn about the history and significance of electric cooperatives, engage with lawmakers, connect with their peers from other rural electric cooperatives across the country, and are introduced to the cooperative business model and its role in community and workforce development. This year, I'm pleased to report that Tri-County sent 8 students to participate in the youth tour. I'd like to take a moment to recognize these exceptional individuals, and you'll see them over here in the blue shirts. If you want to stand and be recognized. I guess not. I know they were working the registration table, so staff's probably keeping them busy. These students not only represent our communities and cooperative, but also symbolize the bright future that lies ahead. We are proud to have them here today, and we commend them for their leadership and dedication. I'd also be remiss not to underscore that Tri-County is a partner cooperative co-owner of C&T Enterprises. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry Center for Workforce Information and Analysis, C&T Enterprises is a top employer in Bradford and Tioga counties, contributing to job creation, income generation, tax revenue, community development, and local business support. Tri-County contributes to this statistic by employing over 60 people, better described as 60 families. By investing in our workforce, supporting local businesses, and fostering economic growth, we are strengthening the connections within our communities and ensuring the reliability and sustainability of our cooperative for years to come. As my term as chairman concludes this year, I want to thank my fellow board members for their support, and we recognize and emphasize the value of cooperative difference. We acknowledge the privilege of serving our members and communities with deep gratitude. Your support motivates us to strive for excellence in all that we do. Together, we have made a difference and will continue to build a brighter future for our communities. Thank you. At this point, I would like to introduce our co-CEOs, Rachel Hauser and Aaron Young, and ask them to come forward to give their annual report.
Thank you, Arnie. We are so thrilled that so many of you have come to join us for our 88th annual meeting to celebrate our successes from 2023 and also to cast a vision for the future. Before I begin my remarks, I want to remind each of you that if you have any questions over the course of the meeting, please raise your hand so one of our staff, we have an army of blue shirts out there, so please raise your hand so one of our staff can make sure you get a note card so you can put your question, your comment, and your contact information, and then pass it back in. And we will seek to answer as many of those questions as we can before the end of today. But if we do run out of time, if we have your contact information, then we can be sure to follow back up with you. As we reflect on the past year, it's really difficult to fully capture every aspect of what we've done in just a few short minutes. And Aaron and I are up here. We're doing it a little bit differently this year. We're going to tag team some remarks, but we are going to keep it brief because we have a really special guest speaker for you, and we want to give him the floor for as long as possible. So as we planned our remarks, you will see some posters up here on stage. They're also about halfway back in the pavilion on the side. And if you grabbed a registration bag this morning, they are also printed out and in your registration bag. And there's just some highlights on there that we're going to touch on. So if you're not able to see what's up here on stage, please grab that out of your bag and you can follow along. And this information and more is available on our website in our 2023 annual report. One of the hallmarks of your electric cooperative is our desire to build connections with our members. And I'm going to talk off of this slide here. And one of the ways that we do that is through our investment into the community. So you'll see a list of community organizations on these posters, and it's not exhaustive, but this is a very small snapshot of some of the investments that Tri-County has made over the course of the past year. In 2023, Tri-County invested through a transparent application and selection process led by your board, funds to 47 community-oriented initiatives, and each of these initiatives had to focus on energy assistance, education, or civic purposes. So it was a way that Tri-County is able to use unclaimed capital credits to benefit the communities that we serve. We believe in bolstering those communities and helping our neighbors, and we're really grateful to have employees and directors that share that goal. Part of our community investment really goes beyond the financial commitment, and it really steps into educating our members on topics and issues that are important to them and critical for sustainable community development. In 2023, our staff provided electrical safety training to over 1,100 school-age students and participated in over 100 community events. And the interesting aspect about those community events is we participate in a lot every year, but this past year our member services and our operations departments actually began building relationships with local fire departments and sitting down and having meetings to talk about safety and emergency response. And the goal there is to make sure that when we are out in the field in an outage or an emergency situation, that we have built those relationships so that we can take care of our community. And so that's been a really great evolution of our involvement in community events in the last year. We've taken a multi-generational approach to member education as part of what makes the cooperative unique. And today, we've stepped that even beyond our electric distribution cooperative, and now we are continuing our member education as we build out our fiber infrastructure. And Aaron is going to step forward and detail that a little bit for us.
Thank you, Rachel. Very early on in our fiber build, we realized that a multi-generational education plan was going to be just as critical to some of our members as delivering a high-speed, reliable fiber connection. Tri-County was the first cooperative in Pennsylvania to bridge the digital divide by providing connectivity to the most rural areas of the state. We had to make sure our membership and community knew how to safely unlock the potential that connectivity holds. So one of the educational opportunities that we provide to our community is our Senior to Senior program. For those of you who are not aware of what our Senior to Senior program is, it's made possible through a partnership between Tri-County, Trico Connections, the Potter County Education Council, as well as the Area Agency on Aging. It's a program where senior citizens are paired with seniors in high school over a 6-week course to learn technology, and the seniors in high school teach the senior citizens on a one-on-one basis how to use that technology safely, both the computer use and online use. This program's been very successful. It's an FCC award-winning program, and it's been successful in providing our members and community with the tools they need to safely navigate the digital world that we live in today. This is just one small way we promote digital education in our rural communities. If anyone's interested in learning more about the Senior to Senior program or know someone who might be, please stop by the registration time afterwards and we'll get you some information about that program. We're also going to do something new today at the annual meeting. We're going to offer some educational opportunities after the annual meeting. So every hour starting at 3 p.m. and ending at 7 p.m., the Trico Connections team will be providing a short presentation on an introduction to streaming basics. This presentation will go over the basics of setting up a streaming TV service and how you can save $50 or more a month by switching from a traditional TV or satellite provider to a streaming TV solution. All attendees will also have their name entered into a drawing for a chance to win a 43-inch smart TV. While we hope all of the members here will support your cooperative and choose Trico Connections as your internet provider, this presentation is open to all members regardless of who your internet service provider is. So please stop over the registration tent afterwards if you'd like to sit in on any of those presentations. Well, you'll also see in your bags that everybody got at registration some educational handouts. These handouts describe the apps that Trico Connections provides to better equip our broadband subscribers to control their online experience and ensure your devices and family are safe as you're on the internet. If you want to learn more about these apps, you can also stop by the registration tent and they'll be happy to go over those forms with you in more detail. Providing opportunities for digital literacy education to our members is very important to us as a cooperative, but none of these opportunities matter without access to a reliable and affordable internet connection. That's why over the last several years, Tri-County and Trico Connections have been focused on bridging the digital divide for our members. In just 4.5 years' time, we've built over 2,800 miles of fiber optic cable, connecting many of you in the process. We've installed over 7,500 of our members to date, and most exciting of all, by the end of 2024, a year ahead of our originally anticipated schedule, all 19,592 of our rural Pennsylvania member locations will have access to a high-speed, reliable fiber internet connection from your member-owned cooperative. Our fiber deployment has not only built connections for our members, but as you'll hear from Rachel, is also a step toward a more connected and resilient electric grid.
Thank you, Aaron. Reliability and grid resiliency are important buzzwords in the energy space today. But at Tri-County, we believe they are more than just buzzwords. They're a focal point and the impetus behind what we do to serve each of you with electric service. In 2023, we continued our focus on enhancing our distribution system through a robust right-of-way clearing program. We completed over 12 miles of new electric line construction and moved major reliability projects forward. As an example, we finished the replacement and relocation of 1.5 miles of three-phase line out of our Ayers Corner substation, enhancing the reliability of that portion of our system for over 600 members. We have also begun a more focused approach of inspecting our worst performing circuits on our system to identify necessary infrastructure improvements. Over the past several years, we've completed almost 8,000 pole inspections, and you will see those numbers up here and they're in your packet throughout our system. We've installed over 1,000 new poles and replaced approximately 1,700 poles. Our fiber optic infrastructure has also enabled us to begin a system-wide meter replacement project to upgrade end-of-life meters with meters that allow more timely and accurate energy usage readings for our members. The new meter system, with an anticipated mid-2025 completion date, will enable enhanced communication. And what that means for each of you is that when there is an outage anywhere in your territory, we have the ability to detect that outage in real time. And it will result in a quicker outage response and power restoration. Now, like I said, this project, we are in process now. We are expecting a mid-2025 project completion. That may seem like a long time for those of you sitting in the audience, but this is a major project, and so we've really hit it full speed ahead to get it done in that time frame. All of this enables an enhanced distribution system. But what about the generation and transmission of electricity? I have no doubt that you have all heard for several years of the sensitivity of our larger electric grid in the United States. We are privileged to have with us today Steve Brame, President and CEO of our power supplier, Allegheny Electric Cooperative, and the Pennsylvania Rural Electric Association, here with us today to offer some remarks on this topic, and specifically how Allegheny, in partnership with Tri-County, are focused on enhancing your power supply. So while Steve comes up, I'd like to give you a brief bio for him. Stephen M. Brame embarked on a career of service out of college, dedicating himself to serving Pennsylvania communities through thoughtful public policy. Born in central Pennsylvania and a lifelong resident of the Commonwealth, Brame joined PREA and Allegheny Electric Cooperative in 2001. As the organization's current president and CEO, he builds on a long career of rural advocacy. During his career, he has helped PREA, Allegheny, and their member cooperatives gain recognition as leaders in energy efficiency, innovation, and conservation. Through his work with the General Assembly, cooperative efficiency and demand-side management efforts are now recognized under Pennsylvania's landmark Alternative Energy Portfolio Standards Act. And this has saved Pennsylvania electric cooperatives more than $100 million over the life of the act. He has also been instrumental in amending escheat's legislation to keep unclaimed property in cooperative communities for the benefit of the members, instead of having it revert to the state. And I want to mention, because of his work, that is why we're able to make some of these financial commitments and investments in our community. Prior to joining PREA and Allegheny, Brame served as a senior staffer for former Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor and Governor Mark Schweiker. His responsibilities in the Lieutenant Governor's office included legislative priorities, General Assembly relations, and communications strategy. Brame continues to serve rural Pennsylvania as treasurer on the board of directors of the Center for Rural PA and as a member of the Pennsylvania Rural Development Council. Please join me in welcoming Steve Brame.
Good afternoon. I got to tell you, when we pulled into Gate 3, and we're looking for parking at Gate 3. It was almost impossible to park at Gate 3, and I thought to myself, holy cow, there are thousands of people that are here to listen to me talk about electric reliability today. Then we came through the gate and saw the pig races were going on, and I thought, let me disabuse myself of that notion. I think we know why so many people are here. But I really do appreciate the opportunity. Aaron, Rachel, the board of directors, Arnie, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. When Arnie invited me to come to Troy, to the Troy Fair, to attend the annual meeting, I accepted almost before he had it out of his mouth, and he couldn't understand why. And I said, well, Arnie, in 1998, when I was with Governor Mark Schweiker, Lieutenant Governor Mark Schweiker at the time, we traveled all around Pennsylvania and we attended county fairs. And one of the things that we did at those county fairs was we had a milkshake at each one of those stops. We attended something like 38 or 39 county fairs, including here at Troy, and we had milkshakes. So for me to get an opportunity some 20 some odd years later to come back to Troy and try the milkshakes again, I couldn't be happier. So I really do very much appreciate the opportunity to be here and just share a couple of thoughts with you about electric cooperatives, about our bulk electric system, as Rachel pointed out, and about some of the challenges we're facing and how we're meeting those challenges. But before I do that, I am struck by the fact that two great community organizations have come together here today. You know, county fairs in Pennsylvania have a long history, 100-year history, of bringing the community together. And for Tri-County and the Troy Fair to come together in this manner, to have Tri-County's annual meeting here, I think is a perfect synergy for two tremendous community-based organizations. Now, Lowell said that this is 88 years of Tri-County. I want all of you to think about 88 years ago, how many organizations are still around? How many organizations are still providing the service that Tri-County is doing? Not only that, but enhancing their service through things like internet and so on. And yes, if you're 88 years old, you are now old enough to run for President of the United States, of course. But I don't think Tri-County is going to do that. I think Tri-County is going to stay grounded in their community. And I think being here today, the Troy Fair, brings those two great community-based organizations together. And I think that's impressive. I also want to talk a little bit about, you can go ahead and clap. I also want to talk a little bit about partnership. Rachel and Aaron talked a little bit about partnerships and what that has enabled Tri-County to do for the community. But as they alluded to, Tri-County is partners with other electric cooperatives around Pennsylvania and even in New Jersey. Formally, they're partnered with Claverack, and I see some of our friends from Claverack in the back. Steve, Gary, how you doing? They're partnered in C&T, and that provides a lot of value for the communities in Tri-County service area, as well as it does for the communities in Claverack service area as well. Both those cooperatives, Tri-County and Claverack, are part of the Pennsylvania Rural Electric Association. Al Calkins is the elected director from Tri-County's board who sits on the PREA board on your behalf. And also, those two cooperatives, along with 12 others in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, are members of Allegheny Electric Cooperative. That's Matt Whiting from Tri-County, who's on the Allegheny board. And Allegheny is really the organization that is charged with providing the kilowatt hours that you use at your home, your farm, your business each and every day. Allegheny is the generation and transmission provider for our rural electric cooperatives in Pennsylvania and one in New Jersey. Now, that partnership, those partnerships are what sets the cooperative program apart. I need only point out to the last couple of weeks where we've had some severe storms that have come through our area, significant rainstorms with significant amounts of outages. Our cooperatives came together to support Claverack, Sullivan County, and Sussex Rural Electric in New Jersey. That's the cooperative difference. That's what allows us to be as successful in our rural communities as we possibly can. Rachel talked about reliability. And the charge for electric cooperatives for over almost 90 years has been to provide safe and affordable and, in fact, reliable power. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that reliability today from a different perspective. Not from reliability as we think of poles and wires, but from reliability of a generation assets, the bulk transmission system, the electric grid as a whole. You know, when you go home tonight, you'll switch on the switch. The lights will come on. You take it for granted now. Oftentimes, things that we rely on, we take for granted. We don't think about it all the time. Well, the act of switching the lights on at your home, your office, your farm, that's an amazing act. That's an engineering marvel of over 100 years, that our electric system, which is built on the demand that you put on the system, being met by the generation and transmission needs that have been created over decades is absolutely remarkable. It's incredible. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as it once was to make sure that those lights come on. And it's not because of poles and wires, it's because of something entirely different. And talk about a few of those challenges. We're challenged in a lot of ways on the bulk transmission system, or the electric grid as you may know it. But let me talk about just a few key factors that are impacting our ability to provide that reliable energy to your homes or farms or businesses. The first thing is we're being asked to power more. It's no longer just about turning the lights on, electrifying your house. It's about electrifying how you heat your house. It's about electrifying how you cook your food. It's about electrifying your transportation. We're being asked to keep computers on and data centers powered. We're being asked to keep HVAC systems and cooking, what do they call those? Stoves. How about that? Cooking our stoves powered as well. All of this is a burden on our generation system, on our ability to generate the electricity that is required to keep all of those things electrified. The second challenge that we have is just a few months ago, the Environmental Protection Agency, the federal government, told us how we can generate electricity. In fact, they said you can't generate electricity from coal, and you're not going to be able to generate as much electricity from natural gas as you have become accustomed to. They've essentially said you have to use different resources to have that always available, always on power for your consumer members or for your customers. Now, at the same time they're asking us to do more with electricity, they're taking away the resources that we have relied on for 100 years to electrify our grid. Now, the third challenge, I think you know where I'm going with this, is the fact that our public policy is now way ahead of our ability to innovate. In fact, the Environmental Protection Agency rule that came out in April of this year simply said that to use any of those carbon-emitting resources, you have to use hydrogen to co-fire the resource, or you have to use carbon capture and sequestration. All of these are fine technologies that are not commercially viable yet. We cannot use them in generation of our electricity to get kilowatt hours to your house. So unfortunately, we find ourselves in a situation where public policy is outpacing our ability to innovate, and we're being dictated to on how to keep our electric grid reliable. I do want to make a few comments on what we are being told to use for generation of electricity, and that's renewable energy. Renewable energy is a great thing. In fact, along the midway here, I saw a solar company talking to customers about solar on their households. That is perfectly fine. That's great. And even as renewable energy continues to develop, it still cannot meet the needs of our electric grid on a consistent basis. That's because it's known as an intermittent resource. Solar panels, wind turbines, they rely on essentially an asset as well. That's the sun, or that's the wind. Now, I love Pennsylvania. I'm a Pennsylvanian by birth. I'm a proud Penn State graduate. I've lived here my entire life. There is a reason why we are not called the Sunshine State. I can accept that as a Pennsylvanian. I'm sure you can as well. I know over the course of the last month, at least in south central Pennsylvania where I live, wind turbines, there hasn't been a lot of wind in 105-degree temperatures in the lower Susquehanna Valley. I see Clint Allett over there. He knows just a couple of weeks ago was in Harrisburg. It was unbearable for different reasons for you, but still, it was unbearable from the heat. Those resources rely on that. I would hasten to add that our electric grid is a 24/7 grid. It doesn't shut down when the sun goes down. In fact, electric usage goes up. It doesn't shut down when the wind doesn't blow. In fact, electric usage goes up. So we need a mix of reliable resources. Everything needs to be used, whether that's coal, natural gas, nuclear power, or renewable energy. Let me talk for a minute about how we are positioned as electric cooperatives, because we are positioned extraordinarily well to meet this challenge. We are owners, electric cooperatives in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, are owners, part owners of a nuclear power plant, Susquehanna Steam Electric in Berwick, not too far from here. That nuclear power plant is a generating workhorse that has provided us reliable and safe and affordable power for many decades for electric cooperatives, and hopefully will for decades more. We also have hydroelectric resources that are reliable, that are safe, that are always available to us, from our Raystown hydroelectric facility on Lake Raystown and from the New York Power Authority at Niagara, at Lake Niagara. These resources allow us 70% of our generation needs. 70% of the power that you utilize at your homes is owned resource. We own that as rural electric consumer members. That leaves 30% on the market, that we're reliant on a robust market. That's why I say everywhere I go, and I get afforded the opportunity to speak all over Pennsylvania, every chance I get, I remind people and I tell people that we need a robust electric market to meet the needs of Pennsylvania. That means every available resource should come to bear in that marketplace. That means coal, natural gas, nuclear, solar, wind, whatever it is, we need to make sure that it's available to us. Fortunately, as an electric cooperative consumer, there is something that you can do to help us make this case. One of those things that you can do today when you registered, you got a registration bag. Inside that registration bag is a sheet of paper. It has a column that one of our government relations specialists, Morgan Webb, who's right over there, she's waving, has penned for pen lines that's coming out, Pete, next month, in August. And in that, she talks about the value of cooperative consumer members engaging with their elected officials on this very issue about the EPA plan to imperil our electric grid. You have a voice in this. You have the ability to help us. You can fill out that sheet and hand it to any of the Tri-County staff or Morgan, or you can visit voicesforcooperativepower.com on the internet, which fortunately you now have access to as a member of Tri-County Rural Electric. You can do that, voice your concerns to your elected officials, particularly your elected officials in Washington, D.C., where the Environmental Protection Agency has promulgated this rule. This allows you to voice your concern. It also allows our elected officials, many of whom we have an embarrassment of riches in elected officials around here. We've got Gene Yaw, we've got Clint Owlett, we've got Tina Pickett. These are folks who understand what it means to have our electric grid as robust as it possibly can. In fact, I've been talking to Gene Yaw about this for over a decade and our concerns about the electric grid. But any one of those elected officials would tell you that you weighing in, you providing them support, you weighing in on what your opinion is of this matter helps them build public policy. They cannot effectively build public policy without hearing from all of you. And so I would call you to action. Visit voicesforcooperativepower.com, fill out the sheet that's in your registration bag, and make sure that your voice is heard in this debate. That will help us as we try to get EPA to understand we need to meet environmental goals while also maintaining the stability and reliability of our electric grid. Let me just conclude with this. Our electric cooperatives in Pennsylvania and New Jersey are extraordinarily well positioned to be impactful in this conversation. There will be opportunities for us to engage in this, and there have been opportunities for us to engage in this in the last several weeks and months. We hope that you'll join us with this. We hope that you'll share your voice on this. The last thing I would say is, as an electric cooperative, our co-ops are really institutions of the community. They're from you. They're for you, for the people, by the people. Where have we heard that before? right? That's embodied in our electric cooperative. The backbone of the electric cooperative is the board of directors that you vote on and the employees and staff that work for that electric cooperative. Please remember that in some opportunities in the future when storm has come through, our power is out, lines are down, poles are broken, there are staff from Tri-County and maybe even other cooperatives that are going to go out into that while we're away from that. Please remember those folks. Thank them when you get an opportunity to do so. I know they appreciate all of you for being members of Tri-County Rural Electric, and we should appreciate all that they do on your behalf for your rural community. Thank you so very much for having me here. I look forward to seeing you at the milkshake place. Maybe somebody will point me in the right direction because I am not leaving here without a chocolate milkshake. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. At this time, I'd like to ask Attorney Tara Koenig to come to the podium to review the election procedures and introduce the Election and Credentials Committee.
Thank you, Rachel. I love that Steve talked about the things that set us apart. He was discussing those relationships with the transmission cooperative, with our sister cooperative that allow us to really, I think, be better than some of those other electric providers out there. The other thing that sets us apart is our democratically elected board of directors, and that being elected from our membership. So that's what I'm here to talk about, but I think that's a very important thing that sets us apart as well. The bylaws permit any qualified member to be nominated by securing at least 15 valid district member signatures on a petition and submitting the petition to the cooperative 120 days prior to the date of the annual meeting. A committee of members appointed by the board called the Elections and Credentials Committee is charged with the oversight of the director election process. This includes reviewing candidate petitions, validating candidate eligibility, and handling objections or protests related to the election. To be eligible to serve as a director, individuals must be a member in good standing and receive electric service at their primary residence in the district in which they are to represent. A complete description of qualifications as found in the bylaws has been published in Penlines, posted on the cooperative website, and is available to any member upon request. The members of the 2024 Elections and Credentials Committee are Chairman Justin Schaefer, Thomas Soha, Sherry Clark, Nancy Cosa, Deb Galley, Regina Hart, Elwyn Caseman, Jean Fay, and Pam Munford. Thank you very much to the committee members for their assistance in the election process and their integrity in this election process. At this time, I would like to ask Committee Chairman Justin Schaefer to come to the podium and announce the election results. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Tara. Good afternoon, everyone. We, the Tri-County Elections and Credentials Committee, being the duly appointed inspectors of elections of directors for the annual meeting of members of Tri-County Rural Electric Cooperative, held on this 23rd day of July 2024, do hereby certify that the election of directors was fairly and impartially conducted, that we hereby certify that the votes of the members were received by either paper ballot or online voting, and that an impartial third party counted all ballots. This year's director election was for Districts 1, 4, and 7. District ballots were mailed to only those members residing in or being located in the above-mentioned districts. Candidates were from District 1, Jerome Cicela, District 4, James Davis, and District 7, Janet Teeter. All three candidates ran unopposed and received a majority vote. For that reason, on behalf of the Election and Credentials Committee, I announce that Jerome Cicela in District 1, James Davis in District 4, and Janet Teeter in District 7 have been elected for 3-year terms beginning immediately. So at this time, I would request a motion to destroy the ballots after the passing of 3 working days, given that no protests are received during that interval. So do I have a motion? All right, do I have a second? All right, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Elections and Credentials Committee. You play a vital role in this process. I'd like to take a moment also to just introduce a new member that we had visit us today, Representative Tina Pickett. Tina, thank you for joining us. I'd like to recognize a group of members, the Member Advisory Committee, which was established to advise the board on matters of concern to the membership and discuss recommendations. If you're interested in becoming a member, please contact your director. We do have a few minutes for questions, so I'd like to invite co-CEOs Hauser and Young to come to the podium to conduct this portion of our meeting and answer any questions you may have. Following the meeting, Aaron and Rachel will be available from the Tri-County tent from about 2:30 to 3:30 in case you'd like to stop by to meet them and ask an additional question.
Thank you, Arnie. So actually, I don't know if you all are going to let us off the hook that easy, but no one submitted questions. So I'm going to take a little bit of risk and just open it up to the floor if you have a question. And if it's for Steve, that's great. We can pull him right up to answer it. So just raise your hand. Does anyone have a question, have anything you'd like to ask? Yes. Oh, yep.
I'm Dennis Snell from Cogan House, and one of the things that I was just wondering, has the committee ever looked at the possibility of branching out as far as a premium service for nearby communities that aren't members of the co-op with the fiber optics? Because I know like Trout Run area, it's bad down in that area, and so I was just wondering if there's any thoughts about that, which in return would generate the co-op even more revenue.
Yeah, so we actually have received funding for 150 miles of off-system build through CAF and RDOF funding that we'll be doing. I can't speak specifically to that area, but there are areas that border our cooperative territory that we will be building into with that funding. So.
And we made a really strong commitment to our membership to build out to all of our members, so that has been our number one priority. But that doesn't mean, like Aaron said, some of the funding we receive takes us beyond that territory, and I think we're more than open to continue considering that, given if there's a good return on investment, because we want to make sure that we are, handling those financial responsibilities appropriately.
There are rumors that 3 Mile Island might go back online. Is there any truth to that?
I didn't even have to say Steve's name. He just knew to come up.
Who doesn't love to answer a question about 3 Mile Island? Yeah, so the owner of who asked that question? So the owner of 3 Mile Island is an organization called Constellation Energy. It's a former part of Exelon Energy. Of course, 3 Mile Island was in the news several decades ago. It's a one-unit nuclear plant, which is different than our plant. The troubled unit was shut down and hasn't been opened again. That's essentially concreted in. Unit 1, which is about an 800 megawatt facility, is closed. They closed it about 5 years ago, but they didn't really start the process of terminating it or shutting it down, which can be a very long decommissioning process. So because of some of what is going on in the energy markets right now and because of the need for generation, Constellation has, on some of their investor calls, alluded to the fact that they're in conversations with various organizations to consider opening up 3 Mile Island again. So it's more than just a rumor. We understand they've talked to the governor's office, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, about steps that they would have to take to turn that, I think I said Unit 1, it's Unit 2, Unit 2 back on going forward. So it remains to be seen, but there is a tremendous push for carbon-free power, and the largest, most significant, and the only non-intermittent carbon-free resource is nuclear. So in this country, we should get off our keister and start doing something about nuclear power. Now, whether that means opening up 3 Mile Island or other closed nuclear plants, I don't know. But we really need to start thinking about making that the types of investments that are necessary on our nuclear plant. So that was more than you bargained for, but you hit it in my wheelhouse, so I had to take it.
And we are pushing right up to the 2 o'clock hour, so I'm going to hand it back over to Arnie to finish us up.
So if you have additional questions, they're going to be over in the Tri-County Tet from 2:30 to 3:30. I'd also like to take an opportunity to thank the fair for allowing us to come here. It's a great day for Tri-County, and it's a great day for the Troy Fair, so it's a great partnership. If you recently joined us, and if you're a Tri-County member, please remember to visit the Tri-County tent located to my right and register in order to receive your food vouchers. We also have bottles of water available at the tent, and when you're likely to be asked to complete a survey, please do so. If you see any of our employees in the blue shirts, they can direct you to that survey. We value your feedback as we strive to enhance our service to you. Before I leave today, I'd like to leave a mention. Our SAFE director wanted me to share with you that one thing about our service. While controlled electricity does so much for us and is so safe, if you ever see a downed wire, always treat it as it's energized. Keep everyone back 30 feet and call our number or 911 to report it. I want to let everyone know that there will be a high voltage electric safety demonstration showing flow of fuses, blowing electrical arcs, and explanation of safe electrical practices taking place over at the grandstands at 2:30. I want to thank everyone for coming. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day at the fair. If there's no further business to come before the members, I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Got a motion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. This meeting is officially over.